Well, pornography can create a powerful, we'll just call it a biochemical rush. So when the individual is subjected to an arousing image, the adrenal gland secretes epinephrine into the bloodstream, where it proceeds to the brain and locks the image in. Now, once this has occurred, the simple thought of the image can trigger a feeling of arousal. Many porn-addicted adults can still vividly recall the first pornographic image to which they were exposed as a child or a teenager. Other body chemicals, like serotonin, adrenaline, endorphins, dopamine, and so on, are also at play, creating a euphoric state. So people who experience this biochemical thrill will not surprisingly want to experience it again. Therefore, it's helpful if you are the spouse of someone who's porn addicted to see pornography not just as a social issue, but as a drug, because the addictive mechanism is clearly part of the danger when, in this case, your autistic husband habitually views pornography. One of the things that neurotypical spouses do that I would view as a fundamental mistake is when they're trying to deal with, a husband in this case who's addicted to pornography, is that they either willingly or inadvertently reveal or even attempt to impose their own moral values and even religious values. I think this is a mistake because we're talking about an addiction here, not a moral failure. So to the NTYs out there, never make assumptions about your porn-addicted spouse or try to impose personal, religious, or moral viewpoints, even if you feel like it might be in his best interest. Even therapists sometimes will make this mistake of confusing addiction with some type of moral weakness. Therapists sometimes fail to understand the power of the compulsion that the porn-addictive individual is facing, and it's not uncommon for private sector therapists to advocate a simple treatment plan that is based on willpower or moral character. I think this is a mistake. Since pornography can be an addiction, this just say no type of approach is likely to only create more frustration and self-defeating thoughts in the person who does not have the willpower to stop. For these individuals that can no longer control their actions, the intervention and treatment modality must recognize the problem as a full addiction and treat it with the same consideration given to alcohol or drugs. Many of these adults who are developing compulsive pornography problems do so in agonized isolation, often believing that they're perverts and alone in their actions. So it can be helpful for both therapists and NT spouses to educate them on the prevalence of the issue while still clearly communicating the dangers so they don't trade their isolation for a, oh well, everybody else is doing it too type of attitude. And lastly, for people who are struggling with pornography, shame is a major, major factor. So one of the things that I try to do as a therapist is to minimize shame by being supportive and non-judgmental about the struggle. And so should you as the NT spouse. It's an addiction. He will need help. He will need outside assistance to deal with that. Self-help strategies tend not to work, and the NT spouse's interventions usually make a bad problem worse.